What's up, everyone, and welcome to the very first video on Bobby's Big Board, a brand new channel built for die-hard fantasy football fans, dynasty junkies, and anyone who loves breaking down rookie prospects. I've been scouting and ranking prospects for years, and this channel is all about digging deeper than the surface stats. If you want real analysis, player profiles, and dynasty insight, you're in the right place. With that being said, let's get it started with my top 5 sleepers of the 2025 rookie class. All right, kicking things off at number 5 on my sleeper list, we've got Harvey, the explosive running back out of UCF. And let me tell you guys, this dude is fun to watch on tape. RJ is one of the most creative runners in this entire draft class. The first thing that stands out when you watch him on film is his vision and his ability to read leverage in real time. He doesn't just hit the hole and go. He sets up defenders, presses gaps, and finds the slightest daylight to bounce or cut back. His lateral agility and stop-start quickness are top tier. He makes guys miss in a phone booth. Once he finds space, it's a wrap. Home run speed all day. He's the type of back who can break off 40-yard gains out of nowhere, and when a play looks bottled up, that's when he explodes and takes it to the house. And that's exactly why my pro comp for him is McCord. He's got the same jittery, ankle-breaking style, that cut-on-a-dime ability that made McCoy so dangerous. Now look, I'm not saying he's going to have the same career as Shady, but stylistically, the comparison is real, especially in the way he sets up defenders and makes his move with confidence and patience. That being said, there is one knock on him, and it's pretty clear on film. He can be a little too confident in that cutback ability. Sometimes he'll try to reverse field or bounce back on a run outside when there's nothing there. Instead of getting the 3 tough yards, he'll lose 2 or 3 yards. That's a habit that's going to need refining at the next level because NFL defenders are going to close that space a lot quicker than his competition in the AAC. Right now, he's projected as a 5th-round pick according to NFL Draft Buzz, which is exactly where the value comes in. If he lands in the right situation, he's the kind of guy who can make noise right away and massively outplay his draft slot. I'd love to see him go to a team like the Cleveland Browns, where he could contribute in packages or even see some work on a down-to-down basis. The Texans are another intriguing fit, young offense, decent line, and they could use a burst guy like Harvey. And honestly, the Broncos make a lot of sense too. Sean Payton knows how to use those versatile backs, and Harvey could thrive in a creative system that gives him space to work. Bottom line, Harvey is a playmaker. If you're in a dynasty league and you want to take a swing on a day 3 guy with some serious juice, elite vision, and a little Shady McCoy in his game, Harvey is your guy. Coming in at number 4 on my sleeper list is a guy you've probably never heard of unless you're a die-hard Utah fan, and that's Brant Kuithe, the tight end out of Utah. Now, I get it, he's not necessarily a household name, and on the surface, there's not much buzz around him in this draft class, but I'm telling you right now, this dude can play. What jumps out immediately to me on film is how fluid he is as a route runner. Kuithe isn't just running shallow crosses and curls. He's capable of handling more complex route concepts like out, seams, and even double moves like out and ups. You don't see that often from a guy listed as a tight end, especially one this under the radar. Once the ball is in his hands, he's got twitchy yak ability. There's a real burst to his movement. He's not just catching and falling forward. He makes defenders miss in space, keeps moving his feet, and just plays with a ton of effort and urgency every single rep. He's one of those guys who looks like he wants it more on tape. At 6'2", 235 pounds, he's definitely on the smaller side for a traditional tight end, and that's part of why he's currently projected to go undrafted, but despite being undersized, he holds his own as a blocker. He's not a mauler, but he competes, stays engaged, uses leverage, and puts in the work. Injuries have unfortunately slowed down his production at Utah, but the skill set is real. He's one of those guys that just does a little bit of everything, and the comp that keeps coming to mind for me is Taysom Hill. Now, obviously, he's not playing quarterback or lining up in the backfield, but in terms of athleticism, versatility, and sheer effort, there's a ton of overlap there. He's got the speed, the burst, and the mindset to contribute in creative ways, whether it's as an H-back, a move tight end, or on special teams. And the best part, you don't even have to draft this guy in your rookie drafts. This is a stash and see taxi squad guy. Keep an eye on training camp buzz. If he makes a roster, especially with a creative offensive staff, you'll want to scoop him up before the rest of your league catches on. In terms of landing spots, I'd love to see him go to the New Orleans Saints to eventually take over the Taysom Hill role and give them another versatile chess piece. The Colts could also make sense if they don't address tight end earlier on in the draft. He could complement what they already have and bring in some juice to the room. And even the San Francisco 49ers. Let him learn behind George Kittle, develop for a couple years, and then potentially become the next guy in that offense. Brant Kuithe is the definition of a deep sleeper. No hype, no headlines, but real traits and the kind of underdog mentality that earns him a role on a roster. At number 3 on my sleeper list, I've got a quarterback who honestly feels like he's being slept on a little too much, and that's Kyle McCord out of Syracuse. Now, if the name sounds familiar, that's because McCord started his career at Ohio State. He ended up transferring to Syracuse for his senior season, and all he did was lead the nation in passing yards and throw 34 touchdowns, despite having a pretty limited supporting cast in that receiver room. That kind of production, that's no fluke. When I watch the tape, what jumps out immediately is the arm talent. McCord can zip it into tight windows with confidence. Whether it's an out route to the far sideline or a seam shot between two safeties, he's got the juice. His deep ball is solid, and he's got that prototypical gunslinger mentality where he's always hunting for the big play. Although he is aggressive, he's not just reckless. He processes quickly, works through reads, and knows when to hit a check down. He's the type of guy who might throw a bomb one play and then dump it off the next. It's controlled aggression. My pro comp for Kyle McCord is Baker Mayfield. He's not quite as twitchy of an athlete as Baker, but stylistically, the two are super similar. Both guys have arm strength to make every throw on the field, both play with a ton of confidence, and both are fearless, even if that occasionally gets them into trouble. That leads to the downside with McCord. Just like any gunslinger, he's going to make some questionable throws. Sometimes he just trusts his arm a little too much. And while he's not a major threat with his legs, he can move well enough outside of the pocket to extend plays and make something happen off script. He's not a statue back there. NFL Draft Buzz currently has him projected as a 4th round pick, and that feels about right. But in Dynasty rookie drafts, especially Superflex leagues, you could probably grab him in the mid to late 3rd round, and that's where the value starts to creep in. Ideal landing spots, I'd love to see him land behind a veteran quarterback where he doesn't have to start right away. Teams like the New York Giants where he could develop behind Russell Wilson, or the Dallas Cowboys sitting behind Dak Prescott. That type of environment could give him time to refine his decision making without losing that gunslinger edge. Look, McCord isn't a guaranteed starter, but he's got the arm, the production, and the mindset that's worth betting on, especially if you're looking for a long-term upside stash in Superflex formats. Don't sleep on this kid. At number 2 on my sleeper list, I've got a wide receiver who, up until about a month ago, nobody was talking about, and that's Kyle Williams out of Washington State. He's quickly becoming one of my favorite late-round targets in rookie drafts, and the hype is just now starting to build, so I'll say this now, if you want him, go get him before your league mates catch up, because I think his value is only going to rise. What really popped for me when I threw on the film was how deep his bag is in terms of his release packages. He's not just winning with speed, he's got actual technique at the line of scrimmage. He's out there cooking corners, freezing DBs with head fakes, jab steps, and just clean footwork off the snap. On go routes and fades, he makes defenders look completely lost. And then there's the speed. He's got legit vertical separation, he can stack defenders and pull away downfield. Washington State clearly knew it too, because they made a point to go get the ball in his hands early and often in the screen game, letting him use that initial burst and acceleration to make things happen. He's super dangerous once he's got a crease. Size-wise, he's about 5'11", 186 pounds, which does put him on the leaner side. This could lead to some issues against press coverage at the next level, especially against physical corners, and I'll be honest, his contested catch ability isn't all the way there yet either. It flashes at times, but it's inconsistent, and that's an area he's going to have to keep developing. That being said, you're not drafting Kyle Williams to win jump balls. You're drafting him to separate, stretch the field, and give you a spark after the catch. NFL Draft Buzz has him projected as a 5th round pick, and in rookie drafts, I think you could grab him in the 3rd round and maybe even later in some leagues. That's great value for a guy with his traits. I'd love to see him land with a team that needs help at the X or the Z position. The Chargers make a lot of sense, especially with how they've reshaped their wide receiver room. He'd bring a vertical element that they're lacking. The Browns would be another great fit. He could rotate in with their other speedsters and bring a different flavor to the offense. And honestly, the Raiders wouldn't be a bad fit either. He could step into a role right away in that system. And when I watch him, the guy that comes to mind for me is Emmanuel Sanders. The same sort of suddenness off the line, the ability to create separation deep, and that burst after the catch. He's not a perfect player, but in terms of late round upside at the wide receiver position, Kyle Williams is a guy that I'm stashing everywhere that I can. All right, at number 1 on my sleeper list, and honestly, it's not even close. My favorite sleeper in the entire 2025 draft class is Oregon running back Jordan James. This dude completely jumped off the screen for me. I wasn't even watching him at first. I was doing all 22 breakdowns on Tez Johnson and Dylan Gabriel, and every time I tried to focus on them, Jordan James kept stealing the show. He's got what might be the best acceleration in this entire class. His burst is absolutely electric, and that burst turns into power, which lets him drop the hammer on defenders. He's not just quick, he's physical, explosive, and hits the hole with intent. Add to that some of the best vision I've seen this year, plus a little wiggle to his game, and you've got a really well-rounded back. He's a smart runner, he reads blocks well, and what impressed me the most, he doesn't take negative plays. I honestly couldn't recall a single play where he got tackled in the backfield. That consistency absolutely matters. Here's another stat for you. In nearly 400 career rushing attempts, Jordan James has not fumbled the football a single time. That's rare. That is absolutely elite ball security. And he's not a one-dimensional guy either. He brings pass-catching ability to the table. Now, I'll admit the only nitpick I have in his game is his limited route tree as a receiver. It's hard to say if that's really on him or it's just the Oregon scheme not utilizing their backs in that way. But either way, it's something to watch as he transitions to the next level. What's even more impressive is that Oregon's run blocking was rough at times last year, yet James still stood out as one of the most efficient backs in the entire class. This tells me he's creating a lot on his own. When I look at his game, the comp is clear. Aaron Jones. Same type of burst, same twitchy movement, same ability to be a do-it-all back who rarely loses yardage and always fights for more. And real quick, I value burst over long speed in today's NFL. With how fast and disciplined defenses are, those 60-yard breakaway runs are rare, but burst is what gets you 5 yards when you should have had 2. And Jordan James absolutely has that ability. NFL Draft Buzz has him projected as a 4th round pick right now, and depending on the landing spot, I could easily see him going in the late 2nd or early 3rd in rookie drafts, and I'll say it right now, I think that's incredible value for the guy that I believe is the 3rd best running back in this class. In terms of fits, I'd love to see him go to the Minnesota Vikings to learn behind Aaron Jones and eventually take over that backfield. He'd be the perfect heir there. The Raiders are another interesting fit if they pass up on a guy like Ashton Genty early. And hey, the Cowboys make a lot of sense too. They need juice in that backfield, and James absolutely brings it. Jordan James is my guy. Don't be surprised if we look back in a year or two from now and wonder why he wasn't getting more hype. And there you have it. Those are my top 5 rookie sleepers in the 2025 draft class. Guys that may not be getting a ton of hype right now, but could absolutely outproduce their draft capital and become serious value plays in Dynasty leagues. Let me know down in the comments. Who's your favorite sleeper this year? Is there somebody that I missed that you're higher on? I'd love to hear the names you're stashing in the late rounds. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel for more prospect breakdowns, rookie rankings, and fantasy insight all season long, and don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss anything that I drop. Next up, I've got a video coming on rookies to avoid in 2025, so be on the lookout for that one. You're not going to want to miss it. Appreciate you watching this video. It's just the beginning here at Bobby's Big Board. I've got a ton of content coming your way, and until next time, peace.
Hey.